Okay, so it is July 16th, Thursday, and it's around about 9:30, 9:40. And I'm about to start this program. So we're going to do day one, and I'll have to do 5 push-ups, 20-second planks, 10 mountain climbers, 8 tricep dips, 3 times. So yeah, I already have everything set up, and I'll show you guys in a second. I have my mat here up on the floor, and I'm just going to be listening to some music over there just to give me that extra motivation. Okay, so I just finished the whole workout, and for me, I kind of feel like it's a little short, but I do feel it in like my arms and stuff and whatnot. But I'm just gonna go with the flow and follow that for now. But I did use these little perfect push-ups. Okay, so I am about to just grab one of my overnight oats, and I made a recipe on how I made this, or a video on how I made this. So yep, let's see how it turns out. So probably not the prettiest sight, but I mean, you could eat it out of the jar if you wanted to, but I'm gonna go ahead and just dump it in a bowl so I could get a full mixture of it. So I'll be right back. So here's what it looks like, all mixed into the bowl, or not really mixed in, but I'm gonna mix this in, and you can still see the liquid from the milk. But if I was to use like the almond milk or whatnot, I know the consistency gets a little bit thicker, but since I just use regular 1% milk, it still has that like liquidy consistency. So I'm prepping lunch for week 1, and it's going to be the roasted veggie power bowl. So I'm not going to do chicken, I'm actually going to use salmon, and I'll stick with the brown rice. I don't know if I'm going to use hummus, but I will be using zucchini as my roasted vegetables. I don't know if I'm going to use beans, but we'll see. And then I have kale, which I will be cooking up, and I'm pretty much going to saute it in garlic and coconut oil and stuff like that, and probably other seasonings, but that is it. So I'll show you guys what I end up putting together. Okay, so I just took out the zucchini from the oven, and this is how it turned out. It's not it doesn't have like that roasted look to it, but it's pretty cooked and soft. Usually it would be looking like this or something with some little marks or something like that, but this is perfectly fine. It's not too soggy, it's not too hard. It's, you know, it's fork tender, so that means it's ready. So I'm gonna let that sit and then wait until lunchtime. Okay, so I have my wok heating up here, as you guys can see. I'm going to cook up my sweet potatoes, and I'm gonna do it in a big batch so I don't have to recook everything, and probably freeze some of the leftovers. But I'm just using coconut oil and an onion, a small onion. So let's fry this up here. I'm taking a teaspoon of coconut oil in there, and I might need a little bit more because I'm using a big batch of ingredients. So if I have to add more, I will do that. But for now, I'm going to add the onions. Lower the heat a little bit so I could just throw in my onions. And while I'm cooking this up, I'm roasting my zucchinis. And I did it for 20 minutes first, but it didn't turn out like with that roasted look. So I'm still cooking it a little bit longer. So here is my big old bowl of sweet potatoes. And again, there is a lot in here because I'm just pre-cooking everything, so I don't have to pre-cut and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna stir it. I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit. So the only thing I will be adding is some ground pepper right here. I have one of these universal lids that works perfectly on any pan. So I'm gonna turn down the heat a little bit to probably in medium or number 5 or 6, and then let that cook up a little bit and stir occasionally. And I kind of want to add a little flavoring to it, so I always turn to my Mrs. Dash, and this is again the garlic herb one. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some there and stir that. Okay, so that should be it for the cooking of the sweet potatoes. I don't want it to be too soggy, so I'm gonna go ahead and just boil it up here and turning off the heat. And then the next thing I'm going to make is the kale. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and cook the kale, and I'm not gonna steam it, I'm just gonna saute it in here. So since it is a big batch of kale, I'm just gonna put another teaspoon and maybe a teaspoon and a half or 1 tablespoon of oil. So I turned up the heat to a number 5 or medium, and I'm gonna throw in my kale right here. I'm gonna cover this for a little bit so the leaves will wilt a little. And I will season it with maybe a pinch of sea salt and some pepper. So I use the sea salt crystals from Trader Joe's, and it's really good. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and add some toasted sesame seeds. Okay, so I have my rice cooking up here, or it's already cooked, but it's nice and steamy. Let's see if it'll focus here. So I have my rice ready, and I'm currently cooking up my salmon patty. I just cooked 2 because I'll probably save the other one for day 3. Over here I have my sweet potatoes with the onions and stuff like that. That's all ready for dinner, so I don't have to prep that anymore. And then back there I have my zucchini, and last but not least is kale. And yeah, so I'm just waiting for the salmon patties, and now I'm gonna dish up my lunch. Okay, so here is my final product. So I just have the brown rice, some zucchini, and then the kale and the salmon. So I might put some, depending on how it tastes, I might not, or I might put some salsa on top. I do have a Southwestern salsa, so I might use that, but other than that, here is my lunch. Okay, so here is my dinner, and I have already made my 2 street tacos, the sweet potato ones that look like that. I didn't add that much in there, just avocado, the sweet potatoes, and cheese. And then I have my strawberries and my egg.